Good evening, all. It's Monday, Airfix and Chill. If you've noticed, I've started putting the episodes number in, and at the moment we're on 95. So in 5 weeks, we would have done
Ooh.
100 Airfix and Chills, not including the lunchtime specials and the special ones we've done. But yeah, I went through them all. And I reckon there's 95 all told. So that's amazing, isn't it? 95 we've done. 94. Well, I've done 95. Not about the rest of you, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Anyway, good evening, everyone. We've got James, Ms. Modler. If you've not seen, Ms. Modler's put a premiere up tonight, and she's had a chat with Dale from Airfix. And I'm going to be watching. I want to watch a very bit of it because I wasn't notified again by the powers of YouTube. You know, it's like their notifications become like a magic board, isn't it? Or we'll give it a shake.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll notify you tonight of some random bloke getting bitch slapped or something from Euro, 2024 or something. But notifications are becoming a right pain in the ass. I'm not getting notified, and I select it as all, and I'm not getting notified. So if anybody knows how this, I can rectify that for YouTube. Put it in the comments. So if you want to go and watch Miss Modlo talk to Dale, it's brilliant. It was at Riat, wasn't it, Lexi? He was at Riat this weekend.
Yeah, it was at Fairford on. I think I did this on the Sunday, but I was there for Saturday and about just over half of the Sunday as well. And there'll be more React videos going up over the next week or so of just like different displays, and I've done little snazzy intros for each one. So yeah,
with your £2,000 PC.
We don't talk about the PC, okay? Like my old one was very old and it died and made me very, very sad. So now I have a nice one.
Yeah, and it's CrowdStrike proof as well, isn't it?
I mean, I do have Linux on a partition, so in theory.
Yeah, brilliant. We've got Sully in because I'm glad you're in tonight because we've got a really good chat tonight about dioramas. But we'll come to you in a minute. We've got John Alec, obviously from across the pond. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Very well, thank you. I see the dog in the background there. He's not going to be looking for ice chip tonight, is
he? Yeah, she's scratching out.
That's right then. Luke's back from his time away. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right, mate. I'm tired.
You're tired, are you?
I'm absolutely. I've been pulling like 70, 80 hour weeks.
Oh.
So
you want to
I'm off today and tomorrow, so I'll be fighting fit by Wednesday.
Fair play. We've got Alex on. Alex, how are you, my friend? All good?
Oh, he's on mute.
He's on mute.
There we go. We're back. That's
back. Did you get your lifeboats in the end then, Alex?
Not yet. Being shipped this week, I believe.
I went into a shop just to pull through punches. Like I went into a shop today that sells all sorts of interesting things in Taunton. I was seeing some pictures, and they had Shannon's on sale in there, and they're not even a model shop. They weren't even a model shop. It wasn't a lifeboat shop either. It was just a toy shop that do Lego and all this. And they had I couldn't believe it. There's no mention of it on any website. I walked into the shop, and they had Airfix there. Incredible. Yeah. Not even a model shop. I'll send you some pictures. You can see what I mean in Taunton. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I've got a mate here who's waiting for lifeboats. And of course, we've got John Parker. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fine.
Good. So, dioramas. Now, me personally, I think I've only ever done 2 dioramas in my life. I've noticed that a lot of model shows now, when I go around model shows, you don't necessarily see a plane on a bit of cloth. A lot of people have a tile underneath, just representing some sort of runway or some sort of dirt, just like a picture or something. But I know that there's a lot who actually spend that extra 9 weeks after spending a week on a model creating a diorama for them. You know what I mean? I think diorama is more intense scale modeling than just building a model, painting it, decals, and let it be. Bit of weathering, let it be. But there are those who will spend more time on a base for the thing to give it a little bit more perspective. Now, I know in here we've got Sully who does dioramas. Luke does phenomenal dioramas. I'm not sure about you, Alec. Do you do dioramas at all, or you just solely build
No, I have done dioramas. I haven't done one for a while.
dioramas? So we want to talk about dioramas really tonight, and your thoughts on them. Do they enhance the hobby? Do you know, when I go to scale model shows, when it comes to competitions, it always seems like the dioramas, there's more dioramas now than just plain models. That's how I'm seeing it. Is that taken away from the scale modeling as in competitions, or does it have a place? So I'm gonna start this all off with Sully, because you when I've gone to model shows, to be honest with you, every one that I've seen, they've been in a set scene, haven't they? The ones I've seen that you put in competitions, is that just a preferential choice, or have you actually got models that aren't in sort of like a diorama scene that you put into competitions?
I've put about, I think I put two dioramas into competitions and about 4, 5, I think it is standalone.
Standalone, was it?
Yeah. I do enjoy doing dioramas. I do them more often, but obviously the biggest issue was always with dioramas is the space that you put them in afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, they do take up a lot of room, but I would quite happily do way more dioramas than standalone. But it's all down to space, and to be fair, expending it extra to get all the little bits and pieces that you need to go, to go on it to make it up. Like,
yeah. What about you, Luke? Because you do a fair few the models I see you put online, you do it, and then there's a diorama like is it the Northern Ireland one you did the other week?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a diorama, wasn't it? Or would you say that was a vignette, whatever they call it?
So I think for me, so in competitions, for example, dioramas are in a separate class. So they're judged separately from standalone models. For me, the reason I do it, so that Northern Ireland one, for example, to me, that's not a diorama. I wouldn't consider that a diorama. All I've done is put the built model on a base, which frames the model to me. So everything I build and everything I've built for the last 2.5 years, probably, will be on some sort of base, whether it be aircraft, Warhammer, vehicles, whatever it may be, it's on a base of some sort. I think it's very, very important with armor, because one of the biggest challenges when you build armor at any scale, because we're building generally in styrene or ABS, to try and create the illusion of weight, because these things are heavy, to try and create the illusion of weight for that particular vehicle, it's much easier to do that if you're setting it into ground. It's much easier to create the illusion that this thing's heavy. So that's what I do with armor. Aircraft, I would generally, like you said, put them on some sort of airfield or runway or hard standing or whatever it may be that fits that aircraft and fits the time period. Dioramas I do build quite regularly, but to me a diorama has to tell a story.
Okay.
I wouldn't consider that Northern Ireland one. I wouldn't consider that a diorama because it's not really telling any story. All it's doing is putting that vehicle at that time where it operated. It's not telling a story. There's no figures on it. There's no crew with that vehicle. There's no civilians. There's no anything. If I was going to do a Northern Ireland diorama, then I'd be trying to tell a story. Now, whether that's, I'm quite lucky because of my background, I can kind of formulate a story or a scene in my head. Or a lot of people go from a photograph.
Yeah.
An historical photograph of a particular vehicle or aircraft at a particular time. and they'll try and recreate. That's a very difficult thing to do. To try and recreate something in 3 dimensions from a 2-dimensional image is a very tricky thing to do. What I want to have a go at next year, I just don't have the time this year, but next year I want to try and do a box diorama.
Oh,
Because
fair
I
enough.
think that's a whole, it's a whole different ball game, because you're having to really think about where the person's vision is as they're looking through a square or a circle or whatever, and how you're going to create that diorama around what they're looking at. So yeah, I think it, putting something on a base, I do that all the time. Creating dioramas, as Sully said, you're into a whole, if you view dioramas in the way I do, that they should tell some sort of story or depict something, that's tricky. To do it well is very tricky.
Does vignette mean 1 item, 1 figure? Both from black sculpt wax.
I think a vignette generally stands alone as an item on its own on a small base. I think if I remember, because there was
that Northern Ireland one, that would be considered as a vignette.
I think because do you remember Luke last year the blue lamp when one of mine came second because it hadn't got a figure on it, even though it was in the diorama category, and they were going on by IPMS, which says it has to have at least 1 or 2 figures to make it a diorama. Because it shows the scale of the item that's there.
That's right. I think in the UK, and someone in the chat will correct me if I'm wrong, it's a shame Jim's not here, because Jim could answer this from the US point of view.
Yeah.
But I think in US competitions, for something to be considered as a diorama, it must have a minimum of 5 figures. In the UK, not so much. I think as long as there is 1, like you say, so to show scale and context, it can be considered a diorama. If it doesn't, then it would be considered a vignette.
It's really strange because, like I said, if you had like a diorama of a tank that's totally like annihilated, like burnt to a crisp, and you've got the trees in behind that look burnt as well, and the ground's all charred, that to me would be a diorama. Because telling the story that this tank has been destroyed by the enemy.
It's very open to interpretation, isn't it? So to me, that would be a vignette. That's how I would see it. To you, it would be a diorama. To someone else, it would just be a burnt vehicle. It's all subjective, really. I mean, the definition of a diorama, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, because I checked it before we went live, is a model representing a scene with 3-dimensional figures, either in miniature or as a large-scale museum.
So that's the Oxford. Is that the Oxford, not the Urban Dictionary? Then
that's the Oxford Dictionary. I'm too old to use the Urban Dictionary.
Oh, the Urban one, yeah. You learn some new things. Nick Johnson has just said, question to Luke, please explain a box diorama. Not heard of that.
Okay, so a box diorama is pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. So you construct a diorama in a box or in a container, if you like, and that you only have a small sort of window in one side where you kind of force the person looking at it. If they want to see what's inside that, they've got to look through the window that you've created. So the skill with that comes in. You have to try and picture what that individual is going to look at through that window, and you construct your diorama around that vision and that view. Whereas a diorama that we all build and see, that's a 3-dimensional. You can look at it from every sort of side. Whereas a box diorama, you're forcing the person looking at it to look at it from a specific angle.
Yeah. Going back to the blue light, because that was when I first put my first scale model into just have a go at, and I put mine in the I think it was under 143 scale, so like 172, and I put in my whippet, but there was a tractor there on and I, at the time, I called it a diorama, but you're right, it was a big net, and they didn't even look at that. They said no, that should have been in the diorama category because it was on a base with grass showing, so he didn't even place. And but they had to be strict on the rules. It was out of the box build. Oh, because it was out. I think they're right when it was like OLB. So it was out. If you put it on any sort of plinth or anything, that's not out of the box, is it?
No.
Now, the scale modeler who put it in could argue and say, I don't want you to judge me on what it's on. I want you to judge me on that model. And I think, well, if that's the case, then take the tractor off that base that you've created for it.
I mean, competitions we all know can be it varies between varying competitions, varying judges. But I still subscribe to the fact that if you're going to enter a competition, it is down to the individual to understand the rules of that category.
Yeah.
We have to interpret the rules. And what IPMS do at nationals, so for example, if you've got a Spitfire, 148 Spitfire that you've mounted on an airfield base or whatever, and you want to enter that into aircraft, 148 scale aircraft, single engine, rotary, whatever, you can, but they won't judge the base. Does that make sense? They'll judge the aircraft, but they won't judge the base. Just ignore the base.
Yeah.
And last year there was a lot of controversy. A guy built a World War I trench network. Really well done. It was amazing. Lots of figures in the trench, and I think it was a Sopwith Camel flying over the trench towards the enemy. He entered that particular build into aircraft, and he didn't place. And then he didn't place, and he then complained that all the work he put into the trench network, the figures and everything else should have meant that he should have placed. Well, the answer was, well, if you want us to judge the ground, the figures, the trench network and everything else, then you need to put that in dioramas, not in aircraft. Because if you put it in aircraft, we're not going to judge that. We're judging the aircraft.
Yeah.
So it's, it is what it is.
I think that also plays into what, because I agree with Luke, the diorama is more involved. And if you think about it, if the single subject focus is a single aircraft or vehicle or car or something, then it's not a diorama, really. And like Luke was saying about that, aircraft on it with all the trench and stuff. Well, if you're judging all the other work, and it is a lot of other work, then it isn't a single subject. You're judging it as an overall piece.
Yeah.
Then you're telling a story. It's a diorama, and I think that's it is a very loose definition. But
absolutely. I mean, on that particular piece, because I looked at it in reality, if you like, I actually looked at it. It was very well done. The figures were great. The groundwork was brilliant. The aircraft was good, but in comparison to other 48 scale aircraft in that category, it wasn't good enough to place against them in aircraft. Yeah. But if the person that built it had maybe got one of the soldiers that was in the trench network waving at the pilot of the Sopwith Camel, then you're telling a story, aren't you? Straight away, you've got that story. The pilot's waving to the people in the trench waving to the pilot, goes in diorama, you probably would have placed.
Yeah. It's a good call, that. But then we've had the judge on IPMS here, and he said sometimes it's very difficult to judge these things.
Absolutely.
It is
because I think so. That's what he was saying. Like the blue lamp last year, the majority of the work in every class on every table was good. It was good quality work, and it's an unenviable task for any judge to have to pick. Because for me, I've only judged once, and I didn't like it because the class I was judging, I would have said they were all worthy of a prize. Do you know what I mean? They're all good quality work, but then you have to get down to the real sort of nitty gritty.
Yeah.
So to me, if you're judging dioramas, it's all about the story.
Yeah.
You know, the standard of the figure painting, the standard of the stuff that's on it is going to be fairly good across the board, because people are at a stage where they think it's good enough to go into a competition. So it's not going to be badly done. It's all then about, like Alex was, it's all about what's that telling me? What emotion is that evoking me as I'm looking at it? What story is this person trying to tell me? Because generally the person that built it's not going to be stood there to tell you. So you've got to try, and it's difficult. It's really difficult. And there are some people that are fantastic at it, and then there are others like myself who try, but 99 times out of 100 miss the mark because it doesn't tell the story that I'm trying to tell. And then someone looks at it minutes later and they have no clue what story was in my head that I'm trying to tell.
John Christmas has just said, wasn't he also told that it will be judged before he decided which act to, but put it in anyway, basically? So he was told what he was looking at. So so somebody knows about it. But like I said, it sounds daft, but you know, when I've seen Spitfires. One of the best ones I've ever seen was a Spitfire in a bay, and there was this pile of oil on the deck, basically in the ground, and there was one bullet hole in the side of the cowling, and he just put a little tiny, I don't know how he done it, but he put like a glass drop of a black substance dripping, and then this pile and you know, and he didn't have to look at it, but you know, lucky shot that he got home, sort of thing, and that was the story. You know, it was so simple.
Perfect.
You know, perfect. You know, but you look at it. You know, lucky shot. You know, so he still made
and
it
a lot
back.
of it. So, but I cheat. I really cheat with dioramas. So pretty much every diorama I build, I will give it a name.
Yeah.
That's cheating. That's exactly what that is. It's cheating because now I've given it a name so that the person looking at it will read the name. Then they're looking at the diorama and they're all thinking subconsciously about the name. So does the diorama fit the name of it? It's cheating. So for that one, if you call that lucky shot, people know exactly what they're looking at.
Yeah.
No, I kind of got the impression that the plane just made it back.
But someone else might not.
Yeah, well, you would have just made it back.
Shot.
Yeah.
You've done 80% of the work there because people know it.
Yeah.
I think the difference, you know, we're talking about, you know, what makes a diorama and scenic base and things. And just with you guys talking, like Moss, you said that, you know, it is a diorama because if you think, and this is kind of how I would view it, if you take that aircraft off the base, does it change the way you look at it? And for that one, clearly it does, right? If you just saw the Spitfire with a hole in it, it'd be like, oh, there's a Spitfire with a, you know, been shot. Yeah. Whereas putting it on the base changes what you're saying about that model. Whereas a scenic base, it frames it, it gives you reference. It doesn't necessarily change how you're looking at the model. It's like, I can get the size of it or something, but it doesn't change the perspective of it or tell a story like Luke said. I think that's to me what a diorama is rather than a scenic base.
Yeah. Oh, it's a fair shout. But yeah, it's as I said, it's an interesting subject, but which brings me on to about the Sully put this in our Discord today and I wanted to share about it. So if I go to slide 1. So on a particular Facebook group, I can't remember which one it was now, but he's blackened it out to basically hide the information because I don't feel it's right. We should name and shame on here. That's not the point of Airfix and Chill. No. But so this chap's done this incredible, for me, brilliant diorama, basically of a biplane in a shed. He's done all these little bits here and everything. You've got a guy there. You've got a pilot. Let's make it bigger a minute. Make it bigger. Hopefully that's a little bit bigger for you, not too much. But
Mhm.
he's there, salute him on a plinth, and there's some sort of tank there or Bowser, and there's grass there, there's gravel. It looks really good for me. If I come up with someone like that, I would probably do cartwheels naked. It looks really good to me. And then there's a comment which really got me a little bit, and it got Sully as well, because Sully raged about this, and I kind of agree with him. So somebody wrote a comment dissing this whole scene. This scene infuriates me. Gravel so perfectly placed that it may as well be a Japanese garden. Every piece of wood looks like freshly milled lumber. Muddy ground, but not a speck of mud or dirt anywhere else. And a toy soldier with a huge head and an oven mitt for a hand saluting. No one. It's a child's vision of a diorama which makes every element look more toy-like than it already does. Sorry, ran over. Now, clearly, I don't know what this guy's on, but that is not a fucking toy, is it? Come on. That does not look like a toy. It's not cardboard. It's not, he's gone and cut wood, and there is shading on the wood. You can clearly see on the Bowser there that there's wood it's darkened with a black substance. He's got the grass. All right, the pilot, the skin tone may be a little bit off, but try to work out what that plane is. Does anyone know what that plane is?
It's an Albatross D5.
Albatross,
It is an Albatross, yeah.
D5A.
But looking at that, he's put it into a shed. So this must have been all hand built, this shed here. All that wood. He's sprayed up the 12 on the front. He's got a ladder on the left-hand side. There is no mud there because it looks like that they've pushed the plane on top of the pallets anyway. So why would there be mud on the wheels of that plane? I know. I just think he's being a stickler here, and I think he should bugger off.
Well,
because
if I was,
think that's brilliant.
to be fair, right, if I was to nitpick, because I generally think it's really good. Actually, it's better than something I could pull off.
Yeah.
I would slightly agree there should be a little bit of mud on there, because obviously if it's come off the airfield, rolls into literally, it'd be, to be honest with you, maybe a couple of lines of tyre tracks where the mud's come off, faded about, and then maybe a little bit around the area of the Bowser. That's it. But that's been nitpicky for me.
Yeah.
I think the problem
I think
is,
the model itself looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah. And I think the problem is that the guy might have some valid criticisms to make or some advice or whatever. But the fact that the first line that he says is, "This scene infuriates me," it's like, well, one, take a chill pill. It's like a scene of somebody else's model should never infuriate you if you have some serious anger issues. If that is the case, this is somebody else's model. It's like, if they want to do it that way, that's fine. If you've been invited to say, how can I improve it? Say, well, maybe the gravel is a little bit too even, just maybe put a few specks. You can give advice in a constructive way that doesn't make you sound like an arsehole. Unfortunately, this guy, the guy's on his way to an aneurysm, isn't he?
Sounds like a colossal twat.
I mean, I think it's mine.
I actually refrained from saying that. I don't know why. I refrained from saying that in the group because I don't know what, I really wanted to go off on one and call him every under the name under the sun.
I mean,
it's also that classic thing of like uninvited criticism. It's just like, if it infuriates you, just look away. That's the easiest way to deal with it. Your life will be much more fulfilled.
Andy Wilson just summed this up for me in one sentence. I hope this guy never sees any of my dioramas. You know what I mean? Seriously.
From a diorama's point of view, and the standard of the finish, the standard of the work, whoever's built it, what they've done is not an easy thing to do.
No.
Because I would imagine that, as you say, the shed, the hangar, whatever you want to call it, is scratch built. That's not an easy thing to do. Who's to say that the German Air Force at that time were very particular about not getting gravel onto the wooden planks, and every morning or every evening the crew, the maintenance staff would sweep the wood to put the gravel back where it's supposed to be, etc., etc. Who's to say that? No one. We weren't there. And the standard of work is phenomenal. It's a good quality build. Is it a diorama that tells a story? I don't know, because what's to say that in front of that Bowser there's not a roadway and an officer's walked past and the person is saluting that officer?
Which that's exactly what I thought when I saw it.
Yeah.
Stop.
He stopped.
They've stopped
Can I
doing what
say
they're doing
something?
and maintaining. Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know what this guy is thinking about, because most online frontline fighters were basically sat in a field overnight. So this aircraft must have been sent back to a workshop to have some serious maintenance done to it. This base is not on the front line.
No.
That base is probably somewhere near a machine factory that builds albatrosses, because Albatross has had a serious issue with wings ripping off them because they were built by press labour. And that aircraft is probably in a workshop, which would have been pretty much like that. I think the woodwork he's got lots of mud marks all over those pallets. That would look about right. And I think what he's done is spot on, because that is not a frontline shed. They didn't have any.
Well, my thought is that during the war they were banging these up so quickly because they'll probably have been blown up, and they were just whacking them back up again because they wanted to, when you're working on an aircraft, the last thing you want is to, strip an engine or do stuff to it.
Yeah, true.
In a dusty field.
But
so
stripping engines
quickly.
down would have been done in the field, but to replace major airframe components, which they often did on the Albatross, it would have gone back to the factory.
Yeah,
I mean, and Alex is absolutely right. If someone's like bursting a blood vessel because something online on a modelling group,
go
and speak
plus,
to your doctor. Do you know what else to say, really?
When I look at dioramas, I look at the amount of effort and the end result that person's put in. I would never look at somebody's diorama, even if it was built by a 6-year-old, and think this ball's my piss, because it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
No.
But also the thing is, they say that the gravel looks too good. But to be honest with you, when they were because there was no concrete foundations, they were basically trying to get a level area to put these planes on. So they probably would have just laid it all down and stamped it down flat as best they could, and then put the wood on top. It doesn't, to me, those are like Japanese at all, because basically there'll be rainbow lines everywhere, wouldn't there, if it was a Japanese sandpit,
But the pallets are around that shed to stop the mud getting in the shed.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the wood.
And
so you're not trenching over all the fields,
I
think what he's done there is spot on.
I would love to see some of the person that's left that comment. I would love to see some of their work.
Yeah, but these people often don't actually do the work.
No, they don't.
They just
let's have a look at yours.
I mean, how many comments have you had on your channel? And then when you've gone and looked up their channel, they haven't uploaded any videos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
that time, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of criticism also comes from the unrealistic expectations that people have about people who make models. So whenever you see it in any form of media, the same as I guess the majority of things in life, obviously it's the perfect model, the perfect example, and the same to an extent at modeling contests, because people who are I guess lower levels might not even enter something or suggest anything. So then for some reason it sets this insane expectation that everything has to be absolutely perfect. Everything has to be up to a certain arbitrary specification. And it's the same whether it's dioramas or whether it's sort of singular models. And it's really dumb. And it just means that we don't appreciate so many, we do, but these people don't appreciate so many things and the effort and skill that's gone into them. Yes, you might not like certain things, but can you not see what actually is there? And even if something was not to a photo standard or whatever you want to describe it as, like surely the best thing to do is to be encouraging and supportive and be like, wow, this is really good. Look how well you did on XYZ. If you are struggling with A and B, here's perhaps things that you can do. And I just feel like it's the same with most things on the internet. It's just so overwhelmingly negative for no reason. And there's like, we just need to be more positive.
And also, when things like this happen, it will put a refrain on those who are beginning or moderate builders, not to put stuff like this up to bet themselves, because I think this was uncalled for. Just straight in there, basically, he's wiped his bum with toilet paper, gone through and was trying to put his finger all over it. Do you know what I mean? It's shite. The comments is just, and all that would do is put people off. Where I always thought that as a community, we were engaging because we want people to develop into, without the new people coming through and becoming scale modelers, the hobby will die. And it's the same with everything. It's I just felt that I just thought that we'll bring it up because, and I was, as I said, I was shocked by the comments that I saw, but look, unfortunately, I don't think it's on the. I went to look back into the.
I might have got it from the. I might have forgotten where it's come from. I think the group I thought I got it from might have been the post I'd looked at before this.
Yeah,
I've forgotten exactly where it come from.
Yeah, so I'll grab these screenshots off Sully here. So that's but it just I think Dudley's right. Sometimes this will stop me making a diorama because I wish I could do something that good.
Right.
But it was so nitpicky on what it was. I just felt it was unfair.
Lex has got a very valid point about the internet, social media, whether it's in this hobby or any other or whatever, a community group on Facebook or whatever it may be. There are so many people now that are so negative.
Yeah.
And it says more about that individual that they felt the need to dick swing is what I would say.
Yeah.
It essentially is what they're doing, and that says more about them and their character. This is a good quality build without no one that builds models can deny that. The plane alone is really well done. Okay, the figure face and hand could be better done. So what? He's working with what he's got, or she.
Exactly. That ladder's pretty good. I reckon that ladder could have been scratch built as well.
The pallets around the hangar, they are weathered.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah.
I tried to get a better picture, but it's the best I can do. But I don't even know. There's even a compressor right at the back there.
Yeah.
How do you know that's not an OC's inspection?
It could be. Or it could be a training field.
Yeah. The ground.
Dan Usher said something earlier on that comment he made. He said, the reason why the guy could be saluting is because they might be posing for a picture.
Exactly. And in which case, having been in the military, and it's a joke, but it actually happens, you paint grass green. If there's a dignitary coming to that base, you paint the grass green. So it's all the same place. So what's to say that that's not happened before this particular moment in time was captured?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But forget that. Look at the quality of the work. The scratch building of the hangar, the pallets, the way the aircraft's finished.
Yeah.
It's well done.
The aircraft actually looks spotless, like it's just been polished.
Yeah, because it's been polished, cleaned, because it's in that
really,
sort of
really nice. He's done a lovely job on it.
Probably because the officers are coming round.
Look at that. I don't know, because I was just going to add that even the diesel Bowser has got diesel stains on the top.
It has, yeah.
This is incredible.
There's a lot of detail, a lot of attention to detail in that. And that's probably more than what I probably would do in some of my dioramas.
He's even done the rigging.
I was just about to say, I was about to say, because I've just noticed that.
He's done the rigging.
So he's not half. He generally hasn't half-arsed it, like James said he's got that. He's got to have built that. That's not a kit. That's proper.
Yeah.
He's measured all that, cut all the everything to the right length and everything, squared
It's
it
not
all
easy
off. And
to do.
no, I don't think. To be honest with you, I don't think I'd have the patience to do that.
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, I
might
know I
the-
do some stupid in-depth stuff like, but I wouldn't have the patience to do that.
I might do the front wall, but I wouldn't do the rest of the hanger
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I've just run out. I've
Do
run
you
out
think
of
that
patience.
kit's 48?
I would say it's 48. Looking at.
Yeah.
It looks 48, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I
think
don't
so.
know. I don't know.
No, because you can see the detail on the face. You wouldn't get that good on. Well, no, in a second. That's a 40.
No.
I think that's 40.
That looks like a
trying to-
48. Which
just
means
scrolling down. There's the paperwork there. You can see the paperwork
You
there.
just
So
can't
that-
see enough of it. Though.
Yeah. But, how a guy could rate that and say, I reckon that the plinth he's built is all, done by paper, done by wood. The ladder looks absolutely spot on. And it's
Mm.
and just by looking at the ladder, it looks uneven. So look at the top, you've got the big
Yeah.
jump, then it gets a little bit, so he could have made that, via with the wood itself. I just think he's done a cracking job, and I think this is what we don't need.
It tells a story.
It tells
Yeah.
a
it
story.
does.
Again,
It's not about perfection. It tells the story, but it is beautiful.
It's lovely.
but
Well, the
also,
thing is, like with the
because it's only got one figure, is that a vignette or is that a diorama? That's the question now, isn't it? It's only got one figure. So America's
Depends on-
for it. They can't have it.
Have you seen he's even got the gaps in the wooden panels, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You can see right through them. It's brilliant.
And the thing is, with the diesel Bowser, like you say, having the stain there, so the cleanliness of that hanger is intentional. It's not like he's forgotten to do it. So again, the guy commenting, it's just like he's got an expectation of what he wants to see based on some idea in his head that isn't what this is. So he's ranting on about something that is only in his own imagination. He's not actually looking at this as the person intended and looking at those details and thinking, well, if he's weathered this, that means this is deliberately clean. So, that tells a different story than this being a front line, repairing the engine just before it goes out and it's all muddy and all that kind of stuff. So, the guy's just on another planet, really, isn't he?
See, Fenris here has just said it's
Yeah.
not just rigging; it has the thickness differences of the rigging closer to the tie-off points, and he's absolutely right.
Yep.
It,
Turnbuckles, which would lead me to believe he's 48
yeah.
because they're turnbuckles, aren't they? Well,
I mean,
turnbuckles.
But it's not
difficult-
accurate. It can't be accurate, can it?
I mean, it's difficult enough putting together a pre-built, pieces of fence to build a real shed. So to have built an entire hanger like this, it's like some piece of work, really.
That's months.
I know you can. I know you can buy these sort of things from Temu now. I know, or from
Yeah, but
China.
still.
These, but still, I still don't. If you got the hanger, from that, he's done the work because he's added, like you were saying, the gaps in the wood. Like on the door there, you've got the gaps where the wood hasn't butted up correctly. There's. Yeah,
he's scratched because if that was a kit, it would be a laser cut kit, and you can't see anywhere on there any burn marks.
That's a good
'Cause
shout.
I think personally, what I think he's done, he's built built it from scratch using like balsa wood and that, and he's stained it because that's not
That's what I thought
that
as
doesn't
well.
look painted. That doesn't look painted to me
No.
in the conventional way of painting. Do you know what I mean?
It's
Yeah,
took
I
to the
think
wood
you're
like
absolutely
stone, isn't
right.
it?
Yeah.
I think that's balsa wood and probably coffee stirrers cut to size,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah, I was going to say McDonald's
And
coffee
then-
stirrers.
Yeah.
Then he's stained the wood.
Yeah. So if you did create this diorama, all of us at Airfix and Chill think you've done a phenomenal job, my friend. And ignore the haters, ignore the keyboard warriors, because if we did anything like that, we would be proud and we would be miffed if we put that into a
you gotta-
competition and win.
Got to
you
say,
know?
at least he wasn't called an abortion like mine was.
Well, this is why I was going to say to
Do
you,
you know what I
how
mean?
far, yeah, but
Yeah, it's just
how
one
far,
up.
how far can you go? Oh, hang on. What's that? If that's 132nd, that could be an aviatic shed. Is that a company that does sheds? Is it? We don't think it's 132. We think it's 148.
48.
I don't think the figure would look like that if it was 32nd.
Yeah, I was going to say you could get good detail figures because
Yeah.
48 figures they can be a bit dodgy sometimes. You know what I mean?
They're called duck boards, not pallets, apparently. So we've been erred there.
Right.
So
Cheers, David.
anyone who has served and had a royal visitor knows exactly what Lucas said is true. It's mind-boggling the lengths of powers that go to for so-called perfection.
Mind you, we have the same when the CD Allegiance tip comes around at work. We have to make sure everything's all pristine.
Yeah,
pretend like nothing's gone
still
wrong.
For more than 5 seconds, it gets polished.
Well, it's like they used to say, the Queen thinks that everything smells of paint.
Yeah,
Probably,
Yeah, that's a good shout. That, but you've had it quite bad, didn't you? When you did that chipmunk, I know there's not a diorama; it was just a weathered model. But you were hammered for that, weren't you? But it wasn't just one comment though; there was a few like it, wasn't there?
There was a few, but it was the one which is it is my all-time favourite comment. I've at Blue Lamp this year. I've actually printed the comment out that's going to go next to it, which is the one that says it was an abortion. You know, I think it's the best comment I've ever had. Consider all the great comments I generally have and obviously appreciate, you know, but to have someone to call one of your models an abortion, I think it's like an award on its own.
You shouldn't. You haven't changed your title, Sully. Sully is now officially called the Ruiner, Destroyer of Models.
Destroyer. Yeah, he's got that Viking beard as well. Yeah. But going on from that, we better. I tried to get this up last week and I couldn't. I didn't put the PDF up; it didn't load in time. The Blue Lamp Model Expo 2024 is back. Saturday, the 17th of August, 2024. Because it's a Saturday, I don't think I'll be able to attend it. But it was brilliant last year. Was it year before?
Yeah, last year you come. Last year you come.
Because it was a Sunday as well, wasn't it? It wasn't a Saturday last year, was it?
Yeah, they've done it on a Sunday because it was the only thing that they could. Well, mainly because it was the hall that they could get it. They couldn't get it for the Sunday, but they could get it for the Saturday.
Yeah.
But also, it doesn't clash with anything else. And that was the one issue they had last year because it clashed with there was a lot of other things going on last year.
Yeah, Riyadh,
as well as other shit.
It clashed with Riyadh, didn't it? No, it didn't.
I think I think it was Duxford actually, maybe. It was an air show.
Yeah, it was an air show, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was an air show, and I think there was another couple of model shows on at the same time. So, but this was more of availability, I think, and not clashing with other shows as well. So,
if I can come up it was a 3-hour drive for me, you see. So that's the trouble, is going up there, and when you buy your raffle tickets, they don't open it till 4, do they? So it's it was a cracking show last year. Food wise was average, but they've got a new venue this time, haven't they? So
we'll see. Could be worse, could be better, who knows?
Yeah, it could be better. But I only go for the food. Everyone knows that. Not the models. But yeah, if you're around that area, near Birmingham, it's straight off the M5, isn't it? M6.
I can't. It's not. Yeah, M5. Yeah, M5, 6. Yeah.
We don't know what the parking's like, Nigel, because it's a new event. Last year they had so much parking there; it was brilliant. But
I think it looks quite decent, to be fair, Nigel. If you put the postcode in, just look it up on Google Images. It's like what you call them? Like a recreational type place, like the sports centre and all that community hub type thing. That's the word I was after.
Yeah. So fair enough. So we've advertised that. So if I can go up there, I'll let people know. But I don't think I can.
You there, Luke?
No, sadly I'm working, mate.
Oh, okay. Luke, you let the side down.
I know.
No, I'm working. I'm devastated. Really. I've tried to swap it. I've tried to book annual leave, but it ain't happening. So
I'll be there. So that's more important anyway. So I'm
if you want Sully and need one of his new stickers, go and see him. Got
new stickers.
Go and get some stickers. But there you go. So there is a place for dioramas. With some grouch should be lit on my diorama, I clarify for him that viewing it is only for civil folk. and he has my permission to close his eyes. I did star a comment because David Coombs has put this up saying this is one of the reasons I left IPMS even after winning national championships. I build for myself these days. What, were you criticised by the judges? I'm not quite sure why you would give up that. Just if you could continue that would be really good. Just let us know one of the reasons why you left the IPMS.
I kind of get it. I do kind of get it. So I am as it's no secret, a big fan of competitions, whether they be IPMS, open system, whatever. I do like them, but I've made a decision this year that I won't enter any more competitions.
And why is that?
Because yeah, that's what it is. I'm not because I won gold at Telford. There's nothing else for me that I can win. That was my entire goal of entering competitions is one day, can I win a gold at Telford? Because to me, that's like, for me, and it's a very personal thing, that was the pinnacle. That's our national show. There's people from all over Europe there, all over the world, really. So if I could do well there, that was it. So now, like David said, I just build for myself or enter any of the competitions.
All right, fair shout. I get that. I've got
a fair chance of winning the Blue Lamp then this year.
Yeah. But not all saying that though, you sound very much like I'm a big fan of I read a lot of autobiographies and biographies. And funny you say that, Luke, because I was reading Marco Pierre White's biography. And
I can't cook. I might be able to build a model, but I can't cook.
He was the only chef to give back his, and he said, I call it Michelin 3-star. He goes, 3 stars of Michelin, like that. He goes, 3-star Michelin. Well, they're not, they're macaroons, but anyway. He gave them back because he said, year in, year out, it was guaranteed 3 stars, but the pleasure had gone because he was actually cooking to one particular set of standards.
Yes.
And it got boring. And he felt that he was concentrating more on making sure he reached that standard set for those 3-star Michelin that he gave them back and told him to basically, Foxtrot Oscar, I'm going to cook the way I do. And basically, what I've seen of him so far is mostly tomato sauce and 2 bottles of Worcester sauce mixed together. He's totally changed his outlook and his thought on his cooking, and I think it's a fair shout. If you've won gold, I suppose you could think maybe I could be a two-time winner, 3-time winner.
Yeah, you could.
But what I'm saying is that when you've got the likes of Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen always trying to get that next, racing to win. You're champion for 3 months, basically. Then you're onto it again, aren't you? To the next round.
Yeah.
And there's still that strive to be Formula 1 champion or 8-time, 6-time, 5-time.
Yeah.
Then you feel that in your decision that maybe you could be 3 times gold winner of IPMS, or do you not? Are you trying to be humble?
The reason,
yeah.
So it's no secret. Anyone that's a member of the club or like my personal circumstances have changed significantly this year.
Yeah, I get that.
So as a result of that, time at the bench is more limited than it ever has been. That's just life. It happens. So when I'm at the bench now, my priority is running the club. Because that's where, when someone's joined the club 2 years ago and they couldn't put an Airfix quick build together, and now they're building vignettes, dioramas to a good, that's where I get kind of burst from, if you like. But for me personally, building for competitions, firstly, I don't have the time anymore to build something that I would put on a competition table. Yeah, I just don't have that time to that level of detail to be competitive.
Yeah, I don't even do that. I just build mine. If it looks good by the end of it, I think, go on then.
And
I
that's
ain't gonna
not
make that.
maybe-
I'm not gonna go that far. I can't be asked to go that far.
Yeah, maybe at a local show, if we're there as a club, and I've built something that I think, oh well, that's all right. Let's stick it into
Yes,
our.
that's it. Yeah.
But
That's what it
building,
should be, I think.
yeah, building for a national competition now and entering national competition, where it's tough. It is tough.
Mm.
I don't have the time, but that's not an excuse. I don't have the motivation to spend that time building to that standard where I'd be happy to put something on the table at a national competition. So
I wasn't being critical. I just want to see your view, because as somebody who's never won anything in a competition, then I've never actually put myself in. You build for years, and you don't really, the appeal was for me.
Turn it round. Okay, so I won gold at Telford. Brilliant. How many subscribers you got? How many people watch your content? That's where your buzz comes from. The fact you've never won gold at Telford doesn't fucking matter, does it? Because what you get from the hobby and what you put into the hobby is in a completely different area to competition builds, and you get your buzz from interacting with your community. That's where you get it, and the fact you love Airfix and you're involved with Airfix, that's where your buzz comes from. So, and in 10 years that might change for you. Do you know what I mean? You don't know.
Yeah.
But
I like the thrill of building. Yeah.
For me, my priority is to make sure the club runs smoothly. We don't get comments like that one we were just talking about posting on builds, and that's my priority now, and that's where I want to dedicate my now limited time to, and just enjoy the hobby for what it is, building models.
And also you can, as you said, you're more now, in some sort of realm, being in charge of that group. You are. I'm trying to think of the word. I wouldn't say you were like a guru at scale modeling, but you were somebody you're somebody that people can ask. What did you do here?
Mentor.
What did you do there? Yeah, that's the word I was trying to think. I wouldn't say guru, because I'm not expecting you to be in like a meditative state, like and praying for people, guys. Sort of thing. But you're somebody who can mentor all that. Yeah. I've got the beard. But you take your hat off, you could be Buddha. You know what I mean? It's like it's. He's got the Grant Mitchell look under there. He has got a Grant Mitchell look. Look at that. You see that down the arches. So I
think the hobby. One of the things I love about the hobby is that for a person involved in it, whether you run a club, enter competitions, run a YouTube, whatever it may be, or you just sit at a dining table with a tray and build for a couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon, whatever it may be, the hobby is so open to everything. It's not like, I don't know, golf. Well, if you're going to play golf, you have to go to a golf course, you need a set of clubs, and you try and get better at playing golf. The hobby is so varied and so diverse, and so it will naturally evolve for the individual over time. Whether that be into different genres, techniques, competitions, running clubs, whatever, it will evolve. And the hobby is so open to that. It's so open to that, and that should be embraced by everyone that's part of it. That evolution of the hobby that will last you a lifetime. It's a fantastic thing for that.
Fair play. Diana, I should never thought about entering a competition, but it's that self-doubt that I'm not good enough, or is it the fact that I can't be asked with all the faff? I'm not sure. And that's something you've got to work out for yourself, mate. It's judging is subjective as well. I used to specifically build motor vehicles, but hated doing showroom models, preferred grubby and beat up. Yeah, it depends what the judge is looking for, I guess. But I think it's everything's all about perspective, and all.
I think. Sorry, go on.
I was just
going to say. We both. Go on, you go.
Here's my point. All I was saying was that we brought this up because there's no place for this criticism with dioramas and doing whatever. You know, if you want to, you know, if you want your work, critiqued, the best way to do it will be at a competition, and then you can learn from that and gather it from that way. So, anyways,
there are places.
Anyway,
Alex,
yeah. Sorry.
So Luke was just.
Yeah, go on, Luke.
I was just going to say, Alex, before you go, there's places on the internet where you can invite critique, if that's what you're looking for. However, that's not what the hobby should be. Shouldn't be about that. It shouldn't be about critique. And to be honest, that comment that we showed earlier, other than someone throwing his fucking teddies out of the pram, there's no critique in that, really. There's no constructive, well, you've done this really well, maybe think about this, or you've done this really well, maybe think about it. There's none of that. So in our club, in our group, which is on Facebook, so it is the internet, we have a rule about critique. Unwanted critique, not wanted, deleted, gone. Do it twice, you're gone. That's it. No arguments. However, if someone posts something on there and says, okay, I've built this, does anyone have any suggestions on how on my next model I could maybe improve the overall finish, or I could maybe improve the groundwork, or I could maybe do whatever it may be? Then critique is allowed, but it has to be constructive.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's my fucking train set. And if I don't think it's constructive, I'll remove it.
Fair play.
No arguments. And it stops that sort of comment going on people's work, because that's a good piece of work. That's a really good piece of work. And if I could scratch build something out of wood that looked like that, I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah.
Well, your turn, Alex.
No, I was just going to agree with what Luke was saying, and it's no secret I'm at the opposite end of Luke when it comes to competitions. I have no real interest in them, and part of it is because I think in an idealized world, competition is actually good. Unfortunately, we don't live in that world, and you have to deal with people. So I think it was I can't remember the chap's name you just put up with the question before, but saying about, you know, the reticence about going to a competition and like fearing that you're not good enough. The fear of failure, I think, puts off a lot of people, and that is only made worse by comments from people like that one on that piece there, who just go out of their way to be, and let's not, you know, beat around the bush, they're arseholes. They're not offering, as Luke said, they're not offering any critique. There's a Facebook group called the Scale Model Critique Group, and I'm sure it started out as that, but most of it is shit slinging. Most of it is people. If you look at the definition of real critique, it is about giving feedback based on data and a thorough analysis. You know, it's considered. And most of what the internet and these kind of, well, again, they're trolls, put out is just their personal rants because of what their personal feeling is. It's not backed up by anything. It's not justified. And at the end of the day, what Luke said is absolutely true. What you said as well, Moss, and I think all of us echo here. It's your hobby. It's a hobby. It's for enjoyment. Don't listen to all these negative, you know, ne'er-do-wells that come out and spout all this stuff. Shut them out of your life. You don't need that. That's not what the hobby is about. Absolutely. It's about creating. It's a positive, creative thing, modeling. You know, that's why Models for Heroes has it for veterans. You know, it helps with mental health, helps with agility, all these things, not with like being a troll on the internet.
So John Ashley Smith says, "Good afternoon, Moz. Just started watching. Maybe I've misunderstood, but I do this hobby for fun. When it isn't fun, I'm likely to lose interest and move on." Yeah, if you watch it from the beginning, you'll see that there was some comments made about a diorama, and we felt they were a bit uncalled for. You know, if we were judging something, if somebody did that in our group and we were maybe, I don't even know which group it is. Somebody sent this to me, and I thought it was a bit harsh what the guy had said about the diorama. And if you go back and watch it, you'll see why I felt that it was just unjust. Because, but what I see, you know, if I saw that at a competition, and it didn't place in if I've been in a competition, it wasn't even placed, I'll be wondering why. Because to me, It's a very, very good very good model. Some nice comments here. I just want to say is thank you all for the right live streams, and yours too do help me to better. I'm very nice to chat to and talk to. Nice to see you, Dudley. I do follow you actually, mate, in your shed doing cars and stuff. So fair play. Steve T, question: what is the polite time to wait for a kit to arrive before you complain? I bought a kit well over a month ago and it's still not arrived, but I paid for it when I ordered it. Well, if it's Alex, you can speak to him now. If it's his shop, if it's Hobby 1001, you've got no chance. They're charlatans. Don't ever buy anything from that Hobbies, whatever it is. They say they're in England, but they're based in Europe, in France.
They're not.
Is it Hobby 101?
It doesn't matter what you type in on a search engine. Any product, any kit, any accessory, whatever, they will always show you in stock.
It's a Hobby 1001, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
They are charlatans.
They're full of shit. You send them the money, you'll never receive it.
And they got an English phone number that doesn't even work. You end up talking to some girl saying, "Oh, you know, never doesn't even work."
My antivirus won't let me look at their website. So,
oh yeah, you said that they banned you, didn't they?
Wow.
It says I can bypass it, but they say this is not a good place. Don't go there.
Yeah, exactly. It's a French company that's got, you know, I ordered Tamiya panel line accent in black. I ended up with Humbrol black wash. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I took the picture, and I'll tell you the thing is, though, is that I wouldn't have minded, but the Humbrol wash was like £3, and this panel line was like 12 quid. And then when you actually look behind it, you've got an English number. They've got, but the funny thing is, she comes up with hobbies1001.co.uk. As soon as you buy something, it goes to the .eu or FR, I think it is.
Yeah, France.
But do not buy off Hobbies 1001. As soon as they realise that they're a bunch of shitsters, then they won't even bother advertising. But I reported them. I even put a review that how dog shit they were, and they had it removed because I used the word half-cocked in the sentence. I said, this company is half-cocked, and they removed it because it had the word cock in it. And I was like, that fuck off, like that. I even left a review for the review company saying they were shit as well. So, you know, but yeah, it's do not use 1001. But I think, to be honest with you, if it's a pre-order, then you'll have to contact them. But if it's not coming in a month, I would expect someone to come within 3 to 5 working days, because that's the average for every DPD or DPD. You know, you order something, you know, by 1 o'clock in the air, because DPD are amazing. It even tells you the blood group of what the driver is. It's amazing, DPD. You know, their star sign even. So, but it should be 3 to 5 working days. I would contact your wherever you bought it from, and
I always give 2 weeks. Just in
I
case.
would say a week is fair to inquire. You know, if it's not there in a week, you know, because it might have been, I don't know, the post guy, you know, didn't get up in time or whatever, could make it over 3 to 5 days, could be a week. But if you've not heard anything for a week, get in touch with them, because there may be an issue.
There may be an issue.
I mean, especially with all those outages last week, I know my Shopify system had some weird stuff going on.
Yeah, Shopify. I see why you use Shopify. You can put Shopify on YouTube now, can't you?
Oh, link your products, yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that with anything else. Bastards. Yeah. Anyway, Matt from Model Moments has joined us in the chat. I don't build models because of the people giving me negative criticism. I build them in spite of these people. Fair enough. I think, you know.
And he gets some corkers.
Yeah. Scrolling down. I'm in Canada. When I order from the Far East, when I order from the USA, I have to pay on the overseas parcel. Does not make sense. Yeah. There's rules for everything in this game. I'm finding it really hard now. I'm working through that quad mile now, trying to get paint. The latest one for me is I've got these companies willing to ship the paint from Brisbane to the UK, and now they said they can't do it because they don't have dangerous goods go through Singapore. I'm like, there's always something, isn't there? Honestly, I'm just going to give up selling this outlaw paint. It's hard work, like, you know.
I've got to be honest, Moss, I'm feeling really threatened now because this dangerous bottle of paint is about to kill me.
Steady on there, Nige. Don't tell everyone.
Dangerous, Really?
I drank it the other night.
So everything in this hobby is designed to kill us.
Yeah. What? I should point out Nigel had hair before he started using outlaw paint.
No, that was a long time before outlaw paints ever existed, James.
Hey, using outlaw paint, you could paint it back on, Nigel.
That's true.
What makes me laugh is that another thing, folks. This Tamiya Extra Thin. It says here that it's carcinogenic in California. So as long as you don't use it in the United California, you won't get cancer. All right. So, but that's what it says.
Everything is carcinogenic in California.
It is, yeah. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger is carcinogenic in California.
Do you know when you get a diet drink, it's got aspartame and phenolphthalein in it? In America, those two chemicals are banned because they've proven to be carcinogenic, and yet everywhere else in the world they still use it.
Well, that's something. Well, actually, Nigel,
because they're wrong.
What it is, it's just like Miko, for instance. Miko in enamel. It was they tried it on mice. They ended up getting lesions on their liver. So what they say is they've banned it in enamel paints as Miko because it's suspected of causing cancer. They've got no proof that it will cause cancer to humans because they have no proof. All they can say is that in mice, they got lesions on their liver. Which, what I want to know is how did they give them to the rats and the mice? Did they inject it into their bloodstream? Because then it would give them lesions.
The real hard bit, Moss, is to get rats and mice to learn how to make aircraft model kits. It takes years of training. But I mean, that thing about phenylalanine. Phenylalanine is one of the essential amino acids in your proteins. So you need phenylalanine, otherwise you die. Yeah. So the reasons are too complex to go into here. It's about biochemistry and certain people's genetic makeup. But yeah, California and the FDA, one of the things that people should know about the FDA is it is not designed to keep people safe.
It's not phenylalanine, it's phenylalanine. It's phenylalanine. It's not phenylalanine, it's phenylalanine.
No, phenylalanine.
No, it's PHELLANYL or something. Right. It's not phenylalanine.
Oh, so
okay, stand corrected. A lot of products will say contains a source of phenylalanine.
Yeah.
I just find it shocking that one place, even if it is California, they find it to be carcinogenic, and the rest of the world is okay to have it. So
yeah.
It's different standards of scientific proof, Nigel.
Yeah. The funniest ever I had was in my days of engineering. I used to use some chemicals we'd put them in coolants to clean the machine out, and they were proven to be harmful to the unborn child. So when we had these chemicals in the machine, we could only have men operating the machine. And I asked this woman to go on there, and she said, "You've put that chemical in there." I said, "You're 55 and you're fucking ugly. Who's going to ask you to fucking give a baby?"
Nice. Yeah. Somebody sent me a picture the other day, which I thought was quite interesting. I've done it as well, but I'll get it up on my phone because I haven't got it on the computer. That apparently Tamiya varnishes have a warning in Japanese on the lid, and when you translate this Japanese writing, it says "Do not use on water decals." Who would have thought? I mean, I don't use it personally, but I thought, why is that warning in Japanese? Why haven't it? If it's in this country, surely it should be a warning in English as well. But apparently, it dissolves and cracks the water decals.
I've never had a problem using Tamiya varnishes on decals.
Yeah.
The problem I've had is using Tamiya decal setting solutions on decals.
It's a strong stuff, isn't it? That Mark set, isn't it?
It's super strong, evil.
Yeah.
Paint.
That's why they got it.
Tamiya decals are quite thick, aren't they? So
yeah,
they're decals.
Like blotting paper, aren't they?
No, you get to fit well. They're all right, aren't they? Where is it to? Where's this picture to? Yeah. So apparently, if you don't use it, because there you go. So that's the warning on the clear, and then if you do a Google Translate, do not spray on top of slide marks, stickers, etc. So don't use it if you put transfers on, or
It's
so
absolutely
yeah.
fine.
That's the warning they put on the lid of the spray cans, apparently.
I use LP9 to seal in my decals all the time.
Yeah, but do you use it from an aerosol can?
No.
That's why it's from the aerosol cans. There's a warning
Oh,
on top
right.
of the aerosol cans. Yeah.
Oh, the TS ones.
Is it the TS? Is it?
Might be
Probably
anyway.
carrier.
If I was you folks, just use the Humbrol gloss. You'll be fine. Just bang out for your airbrush.
Don't listen to him.
If you want, if you want a really bad finish and about 2 inches thick, then use that. Especially out of the
Yeah. With that, if you use the satin, you get that lovely chalky finish as well. Don't you?
I was gonna say I used the gloss and it looked like it was a winter scene.
It was, wasn't it?
It was awful.
I don't know. What? Be honest though, is it? If it's supposed to be that, why is it doing it for an airbrush? Is it because it's supposed to be brushed on? Is that the reason why? Do you
I think because it's coming out so heavy.
Yeah.
Last time I used a Humbrol aerosol can, it was like using a fucking, sorry for my language, it was like using a spray gun on a car. It was like just
Yeah.
bloody
But then I will recommend the Humbrol spray tins to anyone if they want to use them. I think when I've used them in the past, if I'm doing like a car and I can't be asked to get the airbrush out and I've got the tin of it, go over it twice. It does leave a really good finish. I just wish the paint that's in those tins they put in a dropper bottle because it's better paint.
Do you know, I've never seen Humbrol sprays anywhere.
Really?
No, never.
Well,
no. I tell a lie. I've seen them on your camera.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
that's the only place.
The British Racing Green was phenomenal. That was 2 coats, that was, and I got a lovely finish on it. But yeah, it's really good. It's good stuff.
If you brush paint Humbrol varnishes, you have to thin them.
But they're saying you can spray them through the airbrush without thinning them down.
If you try using a brush with Humbrol varnishes onto a kit, it looks like a bloody.
What PSI setting are they recommending for that, Mark? Like
12
100?
to 15, I think, isn't it?
127.
The aerosol.
I've got a bottle.
Use a truck tire.
The aerosol.
I was gonna say it recommends a bigger compressor.
The aerosol 100 psi with a 0.8 nozzle. It's like
put it on with a Karcher.
Yeah, that's true.
Sit on part and one connected to a piles cushion.
yeah, you're right, John. My bloody pressure washer is more gentle than a Humbrol aerosol.
Right.
Yeah, put it on with a Karcher or go on a treat.
But the thing is that this one's water soluble, isn't it? So you can water it down with water. But I wouldn't.
No.
I've seen people spray this stuff and they've got some good results. But yeah,
If I use a brush to put Humbrol thinners on, and you don't thin it out, it just looks like the North Sea.
Yeah.
What do you thin it with, John?
Hmm?
What do you thin it with?
Humbrol thinners.
Humbrol thinners, acrylic thinners.
But the thing is, when you use Humbrol thinners, you can't apply the brush quickly, otherwise you leave loads of bubbles. You have to use it very slowly, and then you get a beautiful finish.
Yeah. But apparently, you can spray this straight from the bottle through an airbrush. People do it. I think Matt from Model Moments sprayed it. Did all right with it, but I've never gone with it with the glass. The only thing I will say is good for is dipping your canopy glass in. It is good for that, and I've done that a few times. That's why it's a little bit missing, because I've used that to dip canopy. If I've got a shitty canopy, I'll dip it in here and leave it to dry. But other than that, apparently you can spray this. But it says here to apply it thinly. It doesn't say. It just says it's water soluble. That's all. So and they've got like a booklet. It says appeal for more information. It's just that wording in different lingo. So, but it hasn't got any sort of warnings or hazards on this. Like every other bottle of lacquer or gloss has got lots of warning and hazards. but this one hasn't. So I presume you can drink it and you'll be fine. Just make sure, just stay here. Eye contact, remove contact lenses. So if you get it in your eye, you have to wash it out. Just remove the contact lenses because they'll have like a really good canopy coat on it, like, you know, like glass. But yeah,
I should imagine it's just a reformulation of future floor polish then.
I guess so.
You could dip canopies in it and spray it directly from the bottle. It's not white, it's clear, yeah?
Yeah. The glosses, anyway. The matte's got like a finish to it. But as I said, I've been doing it for years, putting canopies in this stuff. That's what I use it for. Because I've never used this clear gloss or furniture thing because I'm always scared I'm going to get the wrong bottle. Do you know what I mean? You know, when
you've got to be careful.
And there are people that show you where they've used it in the past and it's gone yellow because they didn't realize they changed the chemicals in them.
Yeah, I don't use it anymore, Moss.
You don't use it at all now, no?
It's for floors, it's not for models, it's for floors.
Yeah.
They've discontinued it. They discontinued it 2 years ago.
It's completely discontinued now, is it?
Yeah.
I
In the
spray
formulation that is useful.
Yeah. I spray pledge through a 5 nozzle, through a 5 needle, Slow was saying. Once I use Humbrol gloss varnish and it makes white patches, terrible stuff. You never use that varnish again. Yeah, a lot of people say that.
You'll find that with any flat gloss varnish.
Yeah.
You'll find it with any flat varnish. If you put it on too heavy,
yeah,
the pigment, as it were, that's in there that makes it go matte.
Yeah.
You have it too thick, it will dry really chalky.
I guess, like if you can see that at the bottom of the Outlaw Paints satin clear, you've got a little bit of pigment at the bottom there to give it that satin look.
Is it difficult to shake up, that one?
No, it actually goes up quite well. You can see it's all kind of, it doesn't take a lot to, you know. But I was, apparently you got to tap it on the table first before you shake it to really get the bottom out. But yeah, as I said, it's all good. But all of them are like that. They've got some sort of well, it's to stop it from being glossy, is it? It's a chemical to stop it from being glossy. So
you don't think Pledge is any good for it. People are still talking about Pledge in future. If you've got really old decals, you can put the decal in the water, spray some Pledge on your model, and then put the decal down and position it and then press it down. And the Pledge will pull the decal down really tight rather than peeling off. But it's a big gamble because if it's a really warm day and the Pledge starts to set, that decal goes bloop and it ain't going anywhere. But you can't. And what you can do is lay it down and then peel it back up, put the Pledge under it, and then peel the other half up and put the Pledge under it.
So I don't think, as I said, I've been that afraid of. I've seen it for sale. Future, was it called Future now? Isn't it? There's all different names for it, isn't there?
Yeah.
But at the time now, I think Flory Models was the last person who did a video on the different one. Don't use this one, use this one. But that was some years ago now. So I'm presuming, as you said, if it's been discontinued, listen.
Future Shine.
I'll be totally honest with you. I don't really mix my paints. So if I was doing if I was using Tamiya paints, I would finish with Tamiya varnishes. If I was using Revell aqua glosses and stuff, I would use their enamels. I would use their enamel finish. You know, that's basically it. So
I used LP9 over my Outlaw Orange today on my life, and it worked beautifully.
Yeah. How was that orange?
It's nice. I was very surprised. You probably have to use more than the yellow. It probably doesn't cover as well as the yellow. I've got to be honest, which is really surprising because yellow is the worst color of all. But it's beautiful. It's gone down beautifully. Beautiful, nice flat finish. Dried instantly. I put it down over a Mr. Surfacer primer, and here it is now, as you can see, with just a couple of clamps on.
Yeah.
The windows in while they dry.
Did you see? I made a mistake with mine. I made a mistake with my build. You've done it differently to me. So I built the hull up first, and then spent nearly 2 hours putting super glue in this here where the gates are because it bends up.
Yeah.
And when I've done that, I think that what I've done is when I've done that, this wouldn't seat properly. Now,
Mine doesn't properly either.
Yours doesn't sit properly.
It's like the deck is too flat. It needs to come up at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've trimmed off quite a bit of where the locating lugs are, you know, at the bottom of the cab. And then I got this clamp. I got this massive clamp here. What they should have done was where the deck is, they should have made it holes, not just recesses. They should have gone right the way through, I think.
Should have made the whole surround a recess so the actual cab sits down in a recess.
Down into it, yeah. I
Gaps.
got this massive clamp and whacked it on to push it in. Yeah, I was like that. I thought I needed, because the clamps I had, I like, right, I said, crunch, crunch, crunch. And I got it to go down, but there's a very minute gap around side. But you follow me on this one. I say this is not a starter set. This is a gift set, isn't it?
Well, I'm doing what I'm doing with mine. I've only painted around the windows, and I'm putting the top on, clamp it down, Mr. Surfacer, cotton bud, no seam, and then paint the deck, and then mask the deck and paint the orange.
Oh, I did it all in 3 stages. Yeah.
How did you get on with your windows? I had real problems with the windows.
I went in fine with me.
Mine, they were all sticking out. They were all sticking out.
No, mine are fine. Mine have actually gone in all good. Yeah, mine are good.
Sticking out at the bottom.
No, they're all level at the bottom.
Oh, mine must have been warped then. I've had to put windows
and
in.
Also, this bit here, when you do it, this bit here should, in theory, reach to that point there.
Yeah.
It does. Well, because instructions should go in there. It doesn't. It finishes there.
Right.
That's one thing I find. You know, you look at the instructions on here. Where is it to? As I said, it's only finicky points, but you can see in the instructions.
It says, T29 goes to that hole.
Goes to that hole, but it doesn't even reach. It's too short. Somebody said that it was missing. There was a piece missing, but I haven't found this piece missing yet on mine.
It was too short. Story of my bloody life.
Yeah, it was too short. And also that whatever you've got to do, and thanks to James, he told me that every hull could be different. So if you go by the scheme, because I'm doing the Exmouth lifeboat, they've got a white bottom.
Yes.
This should be black here.
Yeah.
But I've done it white, and also I was really pleased with that Nichiban tape. I got that line absolutely supple, mate. Absolutely great.
Also, some of them have got light decks, and some of them got dark decks.
Yeah, mine's got pure black deck. Mine's black. Because they show me a picture on top, so mine's completely black. Where some of them is like aircraft grey, and some are a bit darker.
Yeah, some are like a German grey, and some are like a very light, like an XF19 almost, very light. And also all the frame rails, they tell you Humbrol 27 in the instructions, but some of those are light and dark.
Yeah. Well, what I found was on this one, it's not so bad, but some of them are black on the top, and then they have the grey going down. So yeah, I think you've got to really research which one you're going to do. And also, I was stupid, but I wasn't paying attention. I basically got the RNLI 13 off the original decal and just cut the number off. I thought I'll just use the numbers, the 03 on the thing, but it's a different bloody font in there. It's a different font on the extra decal sheet you've got. That's a different font, so the 3 looks odd on mine. So. It's one of them, isn't it? You're like, bollocks. But
what I'd like to see, what I'd really like to see with this, and this might inspire Luke because he's right up for this. I'd like to see Luke build one of these in a little diorama with, like, in a really rough sea with the lifeboat there and the crew rescuing, like, Luke Skywalker from his X-Wing that's crashed into the sea. Or even
it's funny you should say that, Nige. So, under my bench currently.
Oh no! Did I read your line?
He's got Darth Vader's TIE fighter.
I've got 2 of the Shannon boats. One I'm going to build pretty much out the box, factory fresh, clean. The second one is going to be on a diorama, doing a rescue, and I've also got to go with that
Because the other thing I reckon you could really pull off is like
It's got
to
these
do
figures.
really innovative, have the modern Shannon class lifeboat
Yeah,
rescue an American pilot in the Pacific from a
yeah, you can
Corsair.
do
It
that.
would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I've
I
also
know.
ordered
I know somebody's doing
figures.
one. There's a diorama with immigrants crossing the channel. He's already told me that, and I said,
Yeah,
"Well, good
I
luck with
wanna
that
do
one, mate."
But all the crew in the correct dress, 3D printed, 70-second scale, really good quality
That's
figure.
lifeboat crew, is it?
Lifeboat crew in 70-second scale.
Well, who's done that then? Is that you? You've done that?
No, I haven't done that, no, but I know someone that had the files and were able to print off. I think there's one, two.
Wow.
There's
Can I
10
just point
figures,
out?
plus like ropes and all that sort of stuff.
Can I just point out that the yellow we've done for Outlaw matches the uniform they wear now? So I'm just
I know
putting it out there. Just putting it out there. Because we went between the two yellows, you see. There's the yellow stripe. Yeah. Yeah. There's the yellow stripe, which is slightly off, but we think that's because it's been sprayed on a blue, we think, anyway.
Yeah.
But we went more for the uniform because I think those figures will sell well. Whoever brings out those figures will make a few quid on it. But yeah,
Moss is paint that where that decal goes.
Yeah.
It's 1.7 mil wide. I intend to paint like a 1.5 mil wide band of white.
Yeah.
Because I reckon if you put that decal over the blue paint, it's just going to be horrible.
Mm-hmm. I was a bit upset because I actually followed the decal. So where you've got the lumps to, where the N is, I followed that to the decal sheet.
It's off to one side, isn't it?
It's all one-sided then, isn't it? So where you follow the instructions, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong. That's my bad. But to be fair, I've said that Exmouth Lifeboat Station can have it. I said, when I build it, you can have it down there to show off that, this is what it's going to look like when it's built. So I'm going to do another one. And the mistakes I've made with this one, I'll then carry, I know what to do. Because I said, I did the hull and the deck together because I knew there was going to be a bit of a bootang to get it together. When I'd done that, I couldn't get the cabin to fit. Now, people say it's because you've painted the deck and you've painted the cabin separate. Well, no, but I think because I've pulled down so hard on here to get rid of that gap from where the sprue gate was, I think I've made it go like that, if you know what I mean. So now it's not fitting right.
And Moss, you'd have pulling down the middle would have improved it. With mine, it's beautiful. It's just the back sort of half an inch needs to go down. If I did another
gap there, there's a tiny gap.
If I did another one, I would glue the cabin to the deck.
Yeah.
Fit the deck to the hull.
And then spray the cab first, and then mask up the cab, and then do the black. Yeah.
And then pull. But in my videos, because my hull was warped as well. When I put my hull together, there was a massive gap down the middle.
Really?
Yeah. So what I've done, I've shown them. Oh, don't talk to you about Airfix warping. What I've done, I've showed people how to do it with super glue, using the super glue like tack welds and clamping it and moving back and keeping it all true. So yeah, my Gannet, I sent Dale an email saying this Gannet is just like absolutely amazing. It's like Tamiya. It could be in a Tamiya box and I wouldn't know the difference. Tell your team it's bloody awesome, mate. Within 10 minutes of me sending that email, I got the flaps out and they're like this. It's like, oh, fuck's sake. I realized half of the fuselage is all bulged out. It's not Airfix's fault. It's the Indians. And I've had in part 4, part 3, I've had a right old rant about bloody bean counters and taking over engineering and quality in companies and how this is what we've got to come in the future. It's just crap.
Although I said, but that's like when you said, can you get that orange to be a gloss? I sprayed Spitfire to see if I can get it. I did a wet coat, just went back. But that's the beauty of it. You can flood with Outlaw, and you get a there's a crack that there is. I was like, that's better than what I've done on the cab. And because I went for it hard. I put like a wet coat. I went down tack coat, went wet. Thought, now I'll do it again. Went in again hard, and it still went really, really flat. So it's so forgiving Outlaw Paints.
I'll tell you another really good point that I found out today with Outlaw Paints, particularly being as warm as it is. When I sprayed the back of the cab in there, all that detailed area.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no overspray, no dust, there's no rough finish. If I did that with Tamiya XF, it would be rough as old boots.
Really?
Yeah. I was able to get in all the angles and that to get all in there. It just went on beautifully. I'm not trying to blow your trumpet because you're Outlaw Paints, because if it was shit, I would say it was shit.
I know, that's the biggest worry when I sent them to you. He's going to put my business here.
Are you interested? I know that Icky Sticky is a friend of Jason's.
I'm already in contact, mate. I'm already in contact.
I've done some sanding sticks today that were sent to me. They are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think we're going to set aside $2,500 and get a shipment over Vicky Sticky in the next 6 months. But I've not done that route yet because we need to get the paints over from Australia as it is. And I'm crying here, lads. I'm serious. The emails, the phone calls, just trying to get a shipper to bring this across on a boat. It's been, and it's not Jason's fault. It's like Jason sent me the invoice. Now I've got to add a harmony code. I've got to have the dimensions, the weight of the bottle, and you just think, so how can you run a business when there's so much ticker tape? And all it does is put frustrations on me because I've already paid the monies for this paint. Now I'm trying to pay someone to ship it over to me. And this is I'm just surprised, I wish Outlaw Paint was in China. They would have found a way to get it to me, even on the back of a whale. Do you know what I mean? But being English and trying to use an English company to get a product over, so let us iron out the creases. And I'm thinking, Nicky Sticky, we said we'll set aside $2,500 and get as much stock over that as well, and add that to the website as well.
The only thing I will say about Icky Sticky, and I've said it in my video I made today. I don't know if you've seen that video of the sticks. I've seen a few Icky Stickies reviews, Jason and Peter and all that. Oh, this is brilliant. This is the best.
Yeah.
I've seen Jason said Outlaw Paints are the best. Well, no, they're not. If you're a figure painter, they're not the best. And they've said their glue is better than Tamiya Extra Thin. Well, how is it better? Does it dry faster? That might not be better in certain situations. Is it thicker? That might not be better. Is it thinner?
I'll be honest with you, because I wasn't going to touch this cement because I think if Icky Sticky created a cement in a bottle like this, because they designed the bottle to go large letter, so that then equates to £1.20. If you have to send, if there's any fatter than that, the cheapest post I can do you tracked is £3.99. So I'm already saving the customer £1.80 on shipping the product out alone.
But
so
Moss, seriously, if you're going to start looking at Icky Sticky, why don't you just go with sanders, masking tape, all the non-hazardous? What's the point in paying all that shipping to import Tamiya Extra Thin, which is basically what it is, isn't it? What's the point?
It's because I think the idea is that we get the full range in, and then we can decide what we're going to keep and get rid. We can't unless I use it and find it and get people to test it for me. Then I don't know. So I do get it in simple samples, and then go in.
You can buy all their masking tape, all their scribers, all their glass files, all their sanded sticks, sandpaper, all that.
Yeah,
and that will just come in a normal package because there's nothing in there that's hazardous. Why buy hazardous stuff and give yourself an issue?
I get that. I do get that. Where we said we have got we're in contact with them. They sent us over the form, and then I put it to one side in my to-do tray.
Brilliant.
And let's get the Outlaw Paints running first because honestly, I am grateful.
I did actually say in my video today, Moss might stock it.
What's that, Mike?
I said in my video today when I did that review, I said, keep your eyes peeled. Moss might stock this.
Yeah, it's an idea. But then we'll probably do it as wholesale anyway, and then we can ship it out to other people to sell it for themselves. Like, that's the idea. So, poor Luke looks bored as hell. Why are you looking bored, Luke? Mike Myers is saying you look a bit bored.
I'm not bored. I'm absolutely knackered.
Knackered.
I'm not bored. I'm not bored. And I just dropped something. But yeah, I'm not bored. I'm just
Have you been
tired.
doing loads of shifts, Luke?
About 80-hour weeks currently, mate.
Oh shit.
So yeah, that's why I've not been around much.
Yeah, that's great.
We're coming to the end of that.
John, I just got to say, the beauty of this bottle here is that if you turn it upright and just squeeze, then let go, it pulls the glue the cement back in. The original one of these I used, I never had a clog in it. I didn't have to use a lighter to unclog it. It's very, very good. The only, as I said, and if it can get in that size bottle, that is go straight through a letterbox. You put in a bubble mailer, that will go straight through. So you can save on the postage. This is the biggest thing for us, is that because our little paint is bigger than large letter, the start, which is untracked, is $3.99, but with tracked, it's about £4.79 with VAT and everything on top, because you don't get VAT on large letter anyway. But you do get VAT on small parcels. I don't know how they work that. And then they charge me 20p to drop off at the post office now as well, the buggers, per item. So,
Can I ask you a question, boss?
Yeah.
How many books have you sold since my review?
That review, I had 7 on that day. 7 books on that day. If you have bought one of my books, please leave a review on Amazon if you like it. It's because it's the reviews that help get it seen. Because at the moment, I'm just relying on you guys. But I've had lots of positive feedback on it. They're saying it's really
I've had a few comments. One of the best, I think, was I ordered his book because I need someone to read on the toilet or something.
Yeah. But a lot of people have said they found it really funny and heartwarming as well. So, because I talk about things that happen in my life and I relate it loosely to scale modeling. You can look at it as opinion pieces. It's because somebody said to me, you said that as I watched it, I didn't pick this up on the first thing when I watched your video first. I had to rewatch it because you said it's very much like Jeremy Clarkson, how he writes. So, but I did read a lot of Jeremy Clarkson, but he's opinionated as well, isn't he? So it's.
I'm not classing you as being as good as Jeremy Clarkson, because you're not.
Yeah.
You may be one day, but you're not as good as Jeremy Clarkson. But what you've done in here is what Jeremy Clarkson's fantastic about. He can review the latest Porsche and compare it to a bowl of bolognese versus a bowl of cornflakes,
Oh, fair play.
Yeah, it's just completely unrelated. You're talking about modeling, but you're on about something else. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Fair play, Chip.
Yeah. Oh, well. And then I've got the next one. I'm writing the next one now, so be aware. I love Nigel's tip for getting nozzle bottle paint back in a bottle. I love Nigel's tip for getting nozzle bottle paint back in a bottle. Oh, I see. Okay. Do you understand what you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nozzle bottle paint back in the bottle.
Oh, Alex is gone. He's had to shoot off. All right, mate. No worries. He's had to shoot off. He's just gone. Fair play. I bought your book. Mars, not read it yet. Just flicked through. Very funny and well observed. Oh, thanks.
Michael Myers, if you go to my review that I did a couple of weeks ago, there's a link in there that takes you to the YouTube, the Amazon page. It's not very easy to find.
No, do you know why? Because when you put in the word spilt, it changes it to split.
Yeah, but then it still doesn't come up.
Right.
I actually got it by putting your name in.
Yeah. Also, if you type in Tamiya extra thin book, it will come up as well.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah. But it's also in the comments, but it's in the description of this video below. If you're not watching it on mine, or you're watching it on somebody else's. So, but yeah, I'll put a link up now. So you'll be able to see it. But yeah, it's on Amazon. You just got to type in, just put in Tamiya extra thin book. It will come up in the search. But yeah, for some reason, and I have emailed Amazon about this because it is spilt. I spilt my Tamiya thing. When I type it in, it reverts to split, and then you won't find it for some reason.
That's right.
So But yeah, it's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed doing it, to be honest. It was a real experience. And people have been very, 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 you know, the reviews that have been left have been very, very instructive and funny as well. So
I've had a few people ask me to do one and call it, "Oh my God, what a load of crap."
yeah, you should call it. You should call it Mustangs, Airfix, and Warp. That's what you should call it.
Yeah, I said I'd speak to you about the process.
Yeah. But it was, so I basically wrote articles on my Substack, which I've now hidden, so people that have read them, you know, or if you become a Substack subscriber and pay for it, you can read the old articles. But I did about 15, 16, and somebody said these are really good. What you should do is combine them into a book, just edit them slightly so they fit into, so of it being like, oh, subscribe to me on here and do that. Just remove all the bump and just keep the articles in and add a few pictures, and away you go. And so that's what I did. I then carried on writing me articles, and then I formatted them ready. And then a chap in India from Fiverr cost me about 120 pounds it was. And he then formatted it into a books form for me that will be seen on Amazon. And then I've got the copy printed off, then gave it to 3 people, 3 proofreaders, who then came back to me with what they think needed to be changed and make sure it was all correct. There's one chapter in the book that hasn't been edited. I don't know what happened, but was one chapter that didn't get edited. So I don't know what happened there, but by and by. I think it did update because it had about 30 odd drafts by the end of it, because everybody was adding their 10 pence worth, and I was trying to, take away the dots, add a comma, add a hyphen, not 2 exclamation marks, just one will do here, and then did it. Basically, got it all back together. Then I got some software where I took pictures of bits in my room that made them into like drawings. They like transferred the picture to a drawing, added them in between each chapter, added an introduction and a back page. He designed the front page for me. And I used my 2022 meme that went viral, didn't it? That one there about the difference in scale modeling. And then he came back with that, and I loved it. And then it took about 3 days for Amazon to approve it. They didn't like that I got Pramjit's name in here, and they thought it was a bad spelling, and it kept rejecting it for that. I had to tell him, look, his name is Pramjit, and that's how that's how you spell it. But it came back. There's no spelling mistakes. It came back with no spelling mistakes, which is good. And that was it. Then just put it up, made it, and then he done it for hardback, paperback, and Kindle. But we had to do it in stages. So it went out hardback first, then it went paperback, and then 2 weeks later they allowed me to do a Kindle version of it. So, yeah, it was good. It was it's an experience, and honestly, I recommend anyone, if you've got a story to share, put it in a book. I've got a friend who went to Afghanistan, who's written a book about his time out there. He's struggling at the moment to produce it or get it sorted, because he's got to ask the people directly and say, do you mind me putting this story in my book of us in my time? So I just said to him, just change the name, because it takes away the emphasis on what that story is about then, if you just keep changing names. So he's going around to do that. So, but if anybody's got, it's a brilliant, it's really enlightening. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the process of writing the articles to then put them into a book, and I'm proud of it as well, because I'm a published author with my own ISBN number. So yeah, really, really proud of that.
Have you done a review of that Bearcat, Moss?
Yes. Have you not watched your video yet?
Not seen it.
Yeah, I called you a bugger, and the bugger sent me one. Then I've got to build it, haven't I?
You don't.
I've done a review. Crazy Looker. I've not looked, mate. I've seen the comment. I've written it down. I'll have a look and see if it's available in this country. Julian says, I didn't read your book in the bathroom, Moz, as I didn't want to drop my Kindle in the bog when I laughed. Fair play. And Moz, do you know if Airfix have plans to do an F-14 Top Gun kit? They've got one. They've got an F-14 kit. It's already out there. And it's on discount in a lot of places because it never sold.
No.
So they've already got one. I think I've got one here somewhere.
Is it an old tool?
Yeah, it's old.
Yeah. 14, yeah.
1969, is it? 1970 tooling?
70 something, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's an old tooling.
Yeah, it's an old. They did the old Skyhawk as well, didn't they? In Top Gun colours.
Yeah, they used the MiG as well. Yeah. So yeah, but they do one in 172. They do.
Sligo's on about 148.
Oh, I don't know. You'd have to ask them, but I doubt it now because it's the licensing agreement. I think they only did it for that because they had a tooling that didn't cost them a penny to make. That's why they done it. The Mustang's pretty good, to be fair. They done the Mustang, Maverick's Mustang. That's in a box kit with all the labels on and everything. So if you want to build that, you can. So,
I just want to answer. Sluggo's asking the question: F-14 Tomcat in 148 scale. If you want to build it with the wings back, and you're not interested in having all the flaps down, go for the Tamiya kit.
yeah.
If you like, with the wings open and all the flaps hanging out when they look really lovely about to take off, go for the AMK. Now, what I don't know, just thinking out loud, Tamiya did a diorama one, didn't they, with the aircraft base? Does that have
Glass shield behind it?
Does that have extended flaps?
Yes.
I don't know whether it has extended flaps.
Sorry?
I don't know whether it has extended flaps.
Yeah, I think
it has. It was built. It was set on the carrier deck with a blast shield.
Yeah, it's got a carrier deck with the cradle and the heat shield behind it.
Yeah.
And has it got the flaps hanging out in the wings?
I'm sure it has. Yeah.
As far as I know, yeah.
Because if that's the case, that's going to be better than the AMK kit. Because the AMK kit is...
I think, like the one that doesn't have the extended flaps, you can only build one version. Whereas the AMK one will give you the option to build either. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You can do one or the other. Whereas the Tamiya ones, it's one version, one type of build.
I think
that's life, mate. $100 is not a lot for a kit these days.
No.
No.
No,
Well,
that's
like
the two. I've got that one. That's the two.
That's the wrong one, isn't it?
The F-14A they did, didn't they?
Sorry, the F-18.
The F-18 was wrong.
It's a type of Hornet, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. They used these
They
E's
used
and
E's and F's.
Maverick, and that's a C, an A,
An
C,
A or B.
or a D.
That's an FA-18.
Yeah, it's an FA-18 A or B.
Yeah. But what do you do in these situations? You know, I think the licensing for that would have cost them a few quid because Revell did it as well, didn't they? They had the kits there. The MiG was... What was the MiG then? They used a...
It's an F5.
F5, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an F5. Tiger 2, it was.
If I'm right, they called it... They didn't... They called it a MiG with an even number.
MiG 28.
Instead of an odd number, wasn't it?
Yeah, MiG 28 we called it.
MiG 28, and there's no such thing as there's 27, 29. You know, it's So, yeah.
Do you know what? I really want to get that Tamiya F-14 now. If it's got this flaps hanging out.
It's got everything deployed at takeoff. Basically.
Yeah, I'm sure it has.
I've got it.
With his flaps hanging out, it's just awesome. You can see right through.
I've got it.
I even remember the jet pipes being fully open.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But you can only build it as that. Does that make sense? So you've got to have everything deployed, ready to launch.
Yeah.
That's the only option you've got in that kit.
Yeah.
Didn't they have the nozzle shut when they took off?
No, they're fully extended for reheat.
Fully open.
They're fully shut when you're coming in.
So when jet nozzles are fully open,
the plane shut its nozzles down before it took off.
Depends on the takeoff. So if you're launching from a carrier,
this was on a carrier.
Don't know, because you've got such a short run. my understanding that everything's fully open. The pilot doesn't even hold the control stick.
No.
The pilot will hold handles inside the cockpit because of the amount of force that's.
They reckon if he's got his hands on the stick,
the pilot will then take control.
G-force will cause the aircraft to stall.
Yeah.
Back on the stick.
I was amazed when I found that one out.
Yeah.
Because if you look in Maverick, when I know he's actually sat in the rear cockpit and it makes Tom Cruise and it makes it look like he's sat in the front one. If you look, his arms up here, isn't it? His right arm's up here. And
They all do that.
Can I just point out that I thought Top Gun Maverick was a fucking fabulous film. I really enjoyed it. You know, it was, it was pure. It was. There was lust. I just wish.
The steam catapult operator on the carrier. He's not allowed to fire the steam catapult unless he sees the pilot's hand on that handle.
Oh right.
Yeah.
It's part of the procedure. It's a safety aspect.
Here we go. Moss Lee Barrett said the price of kits would be a good subject for a future live stream.
Yeah, it would.
We've done that. We've done that one about. Yeah, we must. The thing is now that I was just saying tonight, we've done nearly up to 100 Airfix and chills.
Isn't it?
And so maybe it's time we go back over some of these, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't think Airfix kits have really gone up that much. If you actually look, the problem is, like they've had the argument about this on many occasions. They're priced at their series, and every year we'll put 10% on it, on every kit, on every series, go up 10%. And over the years, that gap between Series 15 and Series 18 is massive, because that 10% on over the years has made the gap bigger. Because 10% on £5 is 50p, but 10% on 20 quid is £2. So you can see how that's made. So they've got to relook at that. They have said they're looking into it. But also, I've also said that I'm willing to pay £3 more a kit if they produce it in Poland. If you said to me that kit was made in Poland, I would ease. It's not about the bean counters anymore. It's, and I cannot, and I've said this, I love Airfix and I love their new tooling. I think their new tooling's fine. But when I build something and I have an issue, or there's something missing, or there's something bent or something, that is not Airfix's issue. That is a Hornby issue, counting the beans and wanting it done as cheaply as they can in India. And that's the piss take. Because I really do believe if they drag all that tooling from them, because they don't give a shit, because I keep saying this company does Nerf guns for big companies. I've never seen a fucking short shot on a Nerf gun. I've never seen a warped piece of plastic on a Nerf gun, but I'm seeing it. They don't care.
This lifeboat, they've gone back to these 1960s screws instead of having a square frame, and you've got things like these railings, and you've got 3 or 4 screws all chucked in a bag, all sliding around together. 4 of my parts, I thought it was only 2, but it was actually 4 of my parts were broken.
Yeah, I had a bit broke.
Parts like this, and they're all sliding. I mean, what?
I don't want to slag Airfix off. I don't think it's an Airfix decision. I think it's a Hornby decision. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Just something interesting to add. We're talking about the price of kits, right? How much is a Series 1 Airfix kit now, Moss?
$6.99.
Right. In 1970, they were 20p.
Yeah.
On average, they double in price every 10 years. So it should be £7 in 2020.
There you go. October 78. I've got all the prices here of every kit they manufactured at retail.
Yeah.
So, Series 1 was 40p.
There you go.
And you buy a dozen for £2.95. So if you can see that, there you go. There's one for you then. Let's look at the Series 1 aircraft. They're JU-87 Fokker, JU-87B. Will be 40p retail. And then, so it's,
But in 1970, when I was buying Series 1 kits, they were 19.5 pence on the bags. If you double that up every 10 years, in 2020, they were £7.
Where's that? Oh, yeah. Where's that one now? Where is it? Because like they got all these here. The 1/32nd scale armored vehicles were all under Series 8. So you had like this is 1/32nd mind, right? Not 1/35th. This is 1978. Yeah. Crusader tank, the Dodge command car, the Dodge weapons carrier, the personal carrier, the M3 Lee tank, the Bedford QL gun portee, and the field gun tractor was Series 8. Series 8 would have been £2.65.
There you go.
So, Series 8 in the 1/24th scale Stuka would have been £9.25 in 1978.
Yeah. £100 now.
And then what they got it released for now?
£100.
80 quid?
Isn't it 100?
£99.
Yeah.
I think. Or 97.99 or something like that.
Here you go. Series 20 was also that. So Series 20. Oh, I tell a lie. Sorry, I tell a lie. Series 18 was £7.99 back in 78. If you wanted the Bentley, that big Bentley.
Series 20, wasn't it?
Yeah, Series 20, that would have been £9.25.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm so glad I got sent this by an old Airfix employee, old sales rep. He goes, I've got one of these.
Yeah.
So he sent it to me. He said he's put it on websites as well, the pricing. It's one of them. When they were
interesting because when you buy a second-hand kit and it's got the shop price tag on it, sometimes you can't believe it.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, it's gone 10 o'clock. Thanks all for watching.
Yep.
Thank you to the panel for joining us tonight. I thought it was an interesting chat, and episode 96 will be here next week. So we've got about 4 away then. We've got to do something special for the 100th. I thought we'll get Mr. Tamir on.
He's retired, isn't he?
He is retired now. Yeah, he retired. Thanks all for watching. If you can like it and put a comment down below, it helps with the algorithm. And we'll see you next week. Take care now and goodbye.
See you guys.